Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Guys, really cool breakdown from Mabucket when he went out to see the guys at Watcher of Realms. He's actually done this interview with Ren, who is a hero and battle designer. Ren's basically going to walk through a whole bunch of the new stuff that's dropping in Watcher of Realms. I will link Mabucket's full video down below because it's like an hour-long watch. I was going to do kind of like a reaction to the full video, and I thought it's just too long. So I'm going to draw out some of the key points, some of the really cool stuff. But I would just advise, go and watch it in full. It's a really good watch. There's loads of extra small bits of detail that he goes through. And yeah, as I say, really, really cool to kind of watch in detail. And really good to see how open Watcher of Realms are in terms of their feedback as well. Okay, so let's kick it off then. The first thing, which is super exciting and probably one of the things which I'm looking forward to the most, is that we're going to get a new guild boss. There's basically going to be this boss, which is, I mean, you can see it here. It's like a 3-phase attack. So it's going to be this like mechanical boss with different arms, and the different arms provide different damage. You're going to need to, by the sounds of it, systematically take down one arm at a time and destroy sort of different levels of its damage. That will enable it to become more vulnerable, and then you can kind of like take it down after that. The initial visuals look really, really cool. So obviously, with this type of game, you've got the big boss standing behind the kind of encounter, if you like. Looks like there's a number of raised tiles that you're going to be able to put your healers and ranged DPS on. And then there's a number of tiles where you'll put your fighters and tanks if you need a tank. Often you don't in these battles. But yeah, just really liking the look of the design and the concept of it. Sounds very, very cool. They go into a bit of detail around, is it going to be a kind of like straight DPS race like it is with the current guild boss fight? And they do say there's an element on focusing on surviving and obviously doing DPS over time as well. But yeah, you need to break the arms, make him vulnerable, and then do damage, which sounds good. It looks cool. As I say, go and watch for a little bit more detail in the video. Second thing is there's going to be a new campaign level. So they're going to bring out stage 10. I've actually got one stage still to beat on stage 9, which is the final stage on campaign. It's really hard. It's really tough. Yeah, so I've got one stage still to beat, but they're going to be bringing out this campaign level 10, kind of like flow the story through a bit more. There's going to be a kind of like dwarf focus to it and like this ice kingdom. Again, it looks pretty cool. And I actually really like campaign in Watcher of Realms, more so than any other game I've played, I think. The campaign offers challenge, good rewards, and yeah, because I like tower defense games anyway, adding a new realm of campaign actually makes sense in a game like this versus probably some other hero collectors that I've played. So really like that. Really like that they're bringing more of it out. Now the Tide update, I would say I was probably a little bit disappointed with the info that came out for the Tide. So they're going to be changing the backdrop, and there's going to be a new Tide boss. Both of those things are cool. Both of those things are fine. The new boss looks sweet. Again, you can kind of like look at more visuals in Mabucket's interview, but this is kind of like demonic, big wings, very fierce looking dude. I'm now pretty accustomed to seeing these concept art imagery because of the stuff I'm doing with Fateless, where we're building our own game. So I like to see some of the kind of like little images that are around the outside of it in terms of their either reference points or specifics around how we want something to look. But yeah, really, really good visual on this. But it doesn't sound like, from what I got in the interview, Tide doesn't feel like it's actually going to change. And at the minute, I think the biggest weakness with Tide is that it's not really a game mode. I just don't feel like it's a game mode. It's just like a click in, get your resources, click out type of thing. So for me, that's not one of the kind of like highlights from the video. And I do talk about a new gear raid that's coming through. So once you've beaten stage 18s on the first 3 gear raids, there's going to be this kind of like new gear raid that opens up. And within this, there's going to be new gear sets, but also there's going to be a drop of almost like forged materials. And alongside the new gear raid, there's also going to be this kind of forge environment that opens up where you can go and forge your own gear. So much like you do with the artifact materials now to forge your artifacts, you're actually going to be able to forge equipment as well. Really like the idea of this. It'll be a great addition to the game. And yeah, feels like a good direction. So New gear raid opens at stage 18. New sets, new materials. You'll be farming with stamina. It was actually quite cool. It looks like there's going to be different boss modifiers. So as you're kind of going through the different gear raid, there'll be different random boss modifiers as well. Multiple bosses rotating through, so it's not the same encounter every time. Does mean you're going to need variations of teams, I guess, but hopefully they allow for that in team setup stuff. Yeah, and initially there'll be 2 bosses with like a bi-weekly rotation. So that sounds very, very cool. They've got a few changes coming for the Void Rift. Specifically, you can win or earn new mounts. So rather than just walking around on your horse, you could get like a stag or a dreadnought or dragon type stuff in their concepts. Looks very cool. We've got some new hero designs coming through. So, like Ajax has got the kind of like dragon mount. There's actually going to be a new hero that comes in that Nameless faction, which he's the only one right now. So another kind of like dragon rider by the looks of it. Looks pretty damn sweet. And there's a few other heroes that they kind of like to show the visuals of. There's almost like this octopus chick that's got some like big chalice thing. I'm not sure what she's got, but multiple arms. And yeah, looks very cool. So look, watchers knock it out the park with the visuals. A new Arbiter coming through. Obviously, they need to flesh out the Arbiter faction. Again, the concept art looks really, really cool. And a new kind of like chaotic hero, more like monstrous, double axe wielding beast. So again, some pretty cool visuals to go behind that. They've also talked about a new skin. So certain skins you'll be able to win with your champions. So Vienna and Silas are both mentioned with some cool new skins. Obviously, they got their kind of like, maybe this is going to be a Valentine's thing potentially with the link up between them. And maybe that'll be a new skin drop for Valentine's, potentially, I'm guessing. They've got a new Wrath skin coming through, which looks pretty badass. A new Dolores skin. Obviously, she's one of the most sought-after heroes in the game, so probably why they're focusing some time there. She's looking a little bit chilly in the new outfit, but not bad at all. So yeah, we've got a few new ones coming through. There's a bunch of like smaller things that they talk about, like there's going to be some kind of like rework to the way gear recasting is done. They're going to be looking at some of their interaction with the communities in terms of feedback and try and tighten some of that up in terms of patch notes. They're going to try and improve some of the in-game tooltips, which I think is actually a bit of a weakness of the game. You know, when it says like, will reduce someone's defense, but doesn't really give you the number and stuff like that. So where it's not that clear if someone scales through attack or HP or defense, all of that type of stuff they're aware of and they're trying to tidy up. Also, I guess a couple of big things to finish with. They're looking at doing big cross collaborations with IPs, and that means brands that you would have heard of. They haven't mentioned anything about who they are or what they are. Obviously, they would need to fit in with this type of game. But the fact that this game is doing well makes it way more attractive for brands. And I can imagine that would be quite fun for this year. And they also talk about something which is a bit further out, but definitely on their radar, which would be like an infinite tower. So climbing up, almost like roguelike type content, climbing up a tower, and depending on your strength, you could keep going infinitely, and then it has like a monthly reset. So tons in this video, like absolutely loads in this video, and honestly, most of it really, really cool stuff. They talked about some things which have already been dropped as well, like the arena update. So it's not like it's a pipeline for miles away. Some of this stuff's already come, and other stuff's still to come. So really good interview from Mabucket. There's also this kind of bit at the end where there's content creator questions. You might go and find some content creators that you didn't know about there as well. Mabucket kind of like lists their channel at the same time. But yeah, really interesting video. Good job, Mabucket, and awesome to see some of the stuff behind the scenes from Watcher of Realms. Anyway, I'm Hell Hades. If you enjoy my content, please sub to the channel. I'll see you soon.